So the first thing that I want to talk about is I was trying to bring up, I forget how exactly we got onto this topic, but I was trying to talk about this thing that happened with this promotional thing for a soda company somewhere in Asia back in the day that caused all this chaos because essentially they messed up and printed too many of the prize codes under the bottle caps. For those of you that are young, you may not realize this, but like the 20-ounce bottles of soda that you can buy at a gas station, they used to do a thing where they would print codes under the bottle caps and like you could turn them in and win prizes. Sometimes it was just a free soda, sometimes it was money, sometimes it was a TV or a PlayStation or an Xbox or whatever. It was a pretty cool thing, but I don't think any of them do that anymore. But the thing that I was trying to talk about that I couldn't remember what company it was, or what country this happened in, or even really when it was. I thought it happened in the 80s. I think I said the 70s or 80s. It actually happened in the early 90s, in 92 actually. Excuse me. But it was Pepsi, and the event is known as the Pepsi Number Fever, also known as the 349 incident. And this was in the Philippines. And just so we're clear, this is not meant to shit on the Philippines or anything like that. In my opinion, this is a great example of lack of accountability by a corporation and lack of oversight in the manufacturing process, and sort of what the fallout of that can lead to. So yeah, I blame PepsiCo for this, not the people of the Philippines. But it did happen in the Philippines in 1992, so a little more recent than what I thought. But essentially, so like I said, they would print numbers, and in February '92, Pepsi Philippines, right, which is essentially just the incorporated body of Pepsi within the country of Philippines. They were doing a thing where they would print numbers under the bottle caps ranging from 1 to 99, technically 001 to 999, right? Inside of Pepsi, 7-Up, Mountain Dew, and Mirinda. I've never had Mirinda. I don't know if you've ever had Mirinda soda. Let me know if it's any good. And some of these, they would draw certain numbers, kind of almost like a lottery system, and those numbers could be, caps with those numbers could be redeemed for prizes, which went anywhere from 100 pesos to 1 million pesos for the grand prize. For reference, 100 pesos was about $4 US. 1 million pesos was about 40 grand in 1992, by the way. So that's a shitload of money today. Which, I mean, 40 grand isn't a small amount of money today, but you know what I mean. Which 40 grand in 92 was like more than 600 times the average monthly salary in the Philippines. So this is like, like a lifetime of earnings almost. Realistically, I mean, 600 months. What is that, 50 years? So that's almost a lifetime worth of working. So PepsiCo of the Philippines had allocated $2 million US to be given out as prizes in total. And it was, the whole project was kind of based off of, they'd done a similar thing in Latin America before this. I mean, obviously it wasn't PepsiCo Philippines. It would have been a different subsidiary of PepsiCo for Latin America. But, it was, they'd done stuff like this before in other parts of the world. And the promotion in the beginning was extremely successful, which, as you would expect, if there's a chance you're going to win basically a lifetime supply of money, or a lifetime supply of the average monthly salary in your country, I'd go out and buy a soda for that. Sure. Um, sales rose by 40%. The month over month sales rose 40%, and they ate up their market share and went from 19.4% to 24.9%. So they gained more than 5% of the market. And then they were announcing the numbers every night on television. They started in February. By May, 51,000 prizes had been redeemed, including 17 grand prizes. So in the first couple months, 17 people had won that $40,000. And it was so successful that they extended the campaign by 5 weeks. It was supposed to end in May, at the end of the first week of May, and they bumped it out by another 5 weeks. So on May 25th, which would have been a couple weeks into that 5-week extension, it was announced on TV that the grand prize number, right, that day was 349. This is where the name, the 349 incident, comes from. So there were only 2 bottles that had the winning number printed inside of them that day. They also had the security code for confirmation. So you had like the lottery number type deal, like the actual winning number, and then you have a security code for confirmation, right? Because obviously they're telling on the news what the winning number is. So you can't just have people calling in and being like, "Yeah, I've got a cap that says 349." You got to have like the confirmation code in it, so they actually know that you do have the actual bottle cap. However, because they had extended the contest or the promotion in between them deciding to extend the promotion, so there's like with production, with manufacturing and stuff, there's kind of like a lead time on everything. So they had actually finished producing the promotional bottle caps and had kind of gone back to producing regular bottle caps. So there was actually 800,000 regular bottle caps that had already been printed with the number 349 but they didn't have the security code. Now, if they were going to hand out the $40,000 prize to all 800,000 people that had those bottle caps, you're talking about $32 billion US. Again, PepsiCo Philippines allotted 2 million. So I mean, you're like, the difference here is way out of proportion. So obviously there's thousands and thousands of people are like, I got a winning bottle cap, I'm rich, hell yeah. And they're trying to rush to go turn in their bottle caps and get their money. And of course, PepsiCo Philippines was like, hey, you don't have the security code, you can't do this, da 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 da. And then the next day, the newspapers started reporting that the winning number was actually not 349, but was 134, which that just added to the whole chaos of the situation. People got all confused and everything. So obviously PepsiCo Philippines is freaking out because everybody's pissed, right? And they tried to come up with a plan of like, hey, you guys don't have the confirmation code, but we understand that this is like very, very much a letdown of like, you guys thought you were going to win all this money and you don't actually have a winning bottle cap. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer 500 pesos, which was $18 US, to anybody that has one of the mistaken bottle caps, just as like a gesture of goodwill. And more than half the people accepted that offer. I mean, 486,170 people of the roughly 800,000 people accepted that offer, which cost PepsiCo 8.9 million US, 240 million pesos, which again is always it's almost 4.5 times as much as they had planned to give out in the entire promotion. and the promotion's already passed. Right, you gotta remember, this is at the end of the 5-week extension period. So like they've already done the $2 million worth of prizes for the whole promotion. So they're tacking on an extra almost $9 million on top of the original $2 million they had allotted for the promotion. But that also means that there were more than 300,000 people that did not take the 500 peso offer. So they were still obviously pissed. They wanted their money. They refused a settlement offer. They formed a consumer group, the 349 Alliance, which organized a boycott of Pepsi products and held rallies outside the offices of PepsiCo Philippines and the Philippine government. I don't know why it's the Philippine government's fault, but all right. Most of these protests were fairly peaceful. Not all of them. In February of 93, right? So remember, we went from May of 92 when this bottle cap snafu mistake happened. They've been protesting and organizing and everything else all the way around to February of 93. Someone threw a homemade bomb at a PepsiCo truck in Manila. Unfortunately, that homemade bomb ended up killing a school teacher and a 5-year-old child. And then in May of 93, someone threw a grenade. I don't know what the deal with the explosives in the Philippines is. I don't know what that's about, but somebody threw a grenade into a PepsiCo warehouse, and killed 3 PepsiCo employees. By the way, if it's in a warehouse, those 3 employees probably had absolutely nothing to do with the promotion of the bottle cap. These are probably dudes that were like loading trucks and shit. Like they had nothing to do with the management of this promotion, which is super unfortunate. And of course, the entire time, the actual people that did have a hand in the promotion, the executives, the boardroom employees, they're getting death threats, and people are basically hunting them. I mean, as many as 37 company trucks were overturned, stoned, or burned. So people are pissed. I mean, they're like, things are starting to get out of hand. One of the guys who, the NBI, National Bureau of Investigation, so basically the Philippines FBI, the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation, one of the guys that was accused by the NBI of orchestrating the bombings claimed they had been paid by Pepsi to stage the attacks in order to frame the protesters as terrorists. So that adds a whole nother level of like, what is going on with this event? And there was a senator, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, sorry, Filipinos, my bad, suggested that the attacks were being perpetrated by rival bottlers attempting to take advantage of PepsiCo Philippines' vulnerability. That does not sound out of the realm of possibilities. Neither does the theory of PepsiCo hiring them to stage the attacks. None of this sounds like outside of what I would think is possible for these companies to do. Corporations are wild. The Philippine Senate's Committee on Trade and Commerce accused Pepsi of gross negligence and noted it was involved in a similar fiasco in Chile just a month before the 349 incident. I don't remember this one. Maybe we should go look up the one in Chile after this. Okay. So eventually, 22,000 people sued PepsiCo, essentially. There were at least 689 civil suits and 5,200 criminal complaints for fraud and deception that were filed. In January of 93, Pepsi paid a fine of 150,000 pesos to the Department of Trade and Industry for violating the approved conditions of the promotion. Good. I mean, I would argue that probably isn't enough. I mean, if 500 pesos is $18, then 36. I'm not doing the math, but that doesn't seem like a whole lot of money. Anyways, on June 24th, 96, a trial court awarded the plaintiffs in one of the lawsuits 10,000 pesos, about $380 each in moral damages. So, at least in that lawsuit, they got 20 times what they would have gotten if they took the settlement that PepsiCo offered. Now, I would question, like, how much time did they have to spend to get to the point of winning the 10,000 peso payout? What did it cost? Like, how much of that is it actual profit? Because, I don't know, it just seems like a lot of money. Not a lot of money, excuse me, for the amount of time. We're talking about in 96. So you're now like 4 years post the actual promotion happening. So I don't know, whatever. I mean, you know, if they got paid, they got paid. Congratulations. But 3 of the plaintiffs were not satisfied and appealed. And in July of 01, so now we're almost a decade later, the appellate court awarded these 3 plaintiffs 30,000 pesos, about $570, as well as attorney's fees. Okay, so those guys actually had their attorney's fees paid. So that's, now we're talking, I mean, again, we're talking about less than $600, and it took you 9 years to get it. So, is that a win? I don't know. And of course, PepsiCo Philippines appealed against this decision, which PepsiCo, just take the L, bro. There's 3 of them, and you got to pay them $600 a piece. Just pay it off, let it go. Fucking $2,000, dog. Just let it go. These corporations are so fucking greedy. And the lawsuit ended up going to the Philippine Supreme Court, which in 2006 ruled that PepsiCo Philippines is not liable to pay the amounts printed on the crowns, the bottle caps, to their holders, nor are they liable for damages, and that the issues surrounding the 349 incident have been laid to rest and must no longer be disturbed in this decision. So they basically said enough is enough, we're done. You guys have argued about payments and everything for long enough. Okay, so I didn't know about this. To commemorate the promotion, the IG Nobel Prize, a spoof of the Nobel Prizes organized by Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Journal of Irreproducible Results, awarded its Peace Prize in 1993 to PepsiCo Philippines for bringing many warring factions together for the first time in their nation's history. God damn. What a savage ass thing to do. God. That's crazy, man. MIT, y'all was wilding back in the 90s. In the immediate aftermath of the scandal, sales of Pepsi products in the Philippines plunged to 17% of the total market share, but recovered to 21% by 1994. So, it seems to me that overall, PepsiCo Philippines kind of came out on top with this. I mean, they did have to pay that like $8.9 million, but honestly, if you bump your market share by 5%, how long does it take you to earn back $9 million? It can't be that long, right?